If you watched the previous episode, you already know one thing. Umbrella Corporation was never created to protect humanity. It was created to control it. By the late 1980s, Umbrella had grown too powerful, too secretive, and too confident. Its laboratories stretched across the world, hidden beneath cities, forests, and mountains. And one of the most important of all was located beneath the Arklay Mountains, near a small Midwestern town called Raccoon City. This was not a coincidence. This was design. And this is where everything finally went wrong. Raccoon City was never meant to be special. It was not a capital, not a military base, not a major metropolis. It was an ordinary American town. And that was exactly why Umbrella chose it. The city was economically dependent on the corporation. Umbrella provided jobs, infrastructure, healthcare funding, and stability. In return, the city provided silence. Generations grew up believing Umbrella was their benefactor. Very few people questioned what lay beneath the surface because their livelihoods depended on not asking questions. Most of the people living in Raccoon City had no idea what existed beneath their feet. They did not know about the underground laboratories. They did not know about the test facilities hidden in the mountains. And they certainly did not know that, long before the outbreak began, their city had already been classified as expendable. Their first signs of disaster appeared far from the city itself, deep within the Arklay Mountains. Reports began to surface of strange attacks in the surrounding forests. Hikers went missing. Campers were found dead, their bodies bearing severe bite wounds that did not resemble animal attacks. Local authorities were overwhelmed and unprepared. The explanations did not add up, and fear began to spread quietly, long before the public ever heard the word virus. This was when the Raccoon City Police Department formed a special task force, S.T.A.R.S, aka the Special Tactics and Rescue Service. On paper, they were an elite unit trained for high-risk operations. In reality, they were sent in with almost no understanding of what they were about to face. Their mission was simple: investigate the murders, find the source, bring back answers. What they encountered instead would permanently scar every survivor. Hidden deep within the forest stood the Spencer Mansion, a place designed not as a home but as a mask. Behind its elegant halls and locked doors, Umbrella's secrets began to surface. The T-virus had escaped containment. Researchers had been infected. Test subjects had transformed into grotesque biological weapons. And the virus was no longer confined to the laboratory. It was alive, spreading, adapting. By the time the surviving S.T.A.R.S members escaped the mansion, the truth was already clear. This was not an accident. This was not a single failure. It was the inevitable result of years of unethical experimentation. Umbrella knew the truth, and instead of stopping it, they made a choice. Instead of evacuating the city, instead of warning the public, Umbrella covered it up. Reports were falsified. Evidence was destroyed. Witnesses were silenced. Infected individuals were quietly eliminated before they could raise questions. The corporation believed it could still contain the situation, but viruses do not obey corporate orders, and the T-virus had already found new hosts. The infection spread through Raccoon City with terrifying efficiency. Through the water systems, through hospitals, through underground transport routes. Patients turned inside their hospital beds. Doctors were infected while trying to help. Police officers vanished during routine calls that were never logged. Entire apartments collapsed before they understood that was happening. Within the days, Raccoon City began to fall apart from the inside. Still, the public was not told the truth. Official explanations blamed riots, chemical leaks, and civil unrest. Emergency broadcasts were delayed or cut short. Communication lines failed. And when the military finally established quarantine zones around the city, it was already too late. Entire neighborhoods were overrun. Evacuation routes were blocked. The people of Raccoon City were trapped. And still, Umbrella did nothing to save them, because saving them was never the plan. Behind closed doors, Umbrella executives discussed only one thing: containment. Not containment of the virus, but containment of the truth. Raccoon City had become a liability, and in Umbrella's world, liabilities were meant to be raised, not rescued. The decision was made at the highest level: a sterilization strike. A nuclear missile would be launched directly at the city. Officially, it would be explained as a necessary response to an uncontrollable outbreak. Unofficially, it was the final act of destruction. Everybody, every laboratory, every document, every mistake, reduced to ash in a matter of seconds. On September 30th, 1998, Raccoon City ceased to exist. Hundreds of thousands of lives were erased in an instant. Not because they were all infected, but because they were inconvenient. Because they knew too much, even if they never realized it. Umbrella had successfully destroyed the city. But in doing so, they sealed their own fate. The Raccoon City incident could not remain hidden forever. Survivors spoke out. Classified documents leaked. Whistleblowers emerged from within the system. Public trust collapsed. Investigations began. And for the first time in its history, Umbrella Corporation started to fall under the weight of its own secrets. But the destruction of Raccoon City did not end bioterror. It normalized it. The research did not disappear with the city. The data survived. The samples survived. And the world had now learned what biological weapons were truly capable of. Black markets began to form. Former Umbrella researchers vanished. New organizations took interest in the technology. In the next episode, we will follow the aftermath of Raccoon City, the official collapse of Umbrella, the spread of bioorganic weapons across the globe, and the individuals who would carry this research into a new era of terror. Because in the Resident Evil universe, destruction is never the final chapter. It's only a transition.